The deep space relay ship Aurora's Edge drifted in the quiet void, far beyond any familiar star. Its silver hull reflected the light of a dying red sun, and inside the ship only a few systems still worked. The crew had been evacuated weeks ago after a reactor malfunction. Now only one man remained, Captain Elias Vorn, a human engineer who had volunteered to repair the ship before it was lost forever. Elias had been alone for 40 days. His only company was the hum of the engines and the soft voice of the ship's AI, Rhea. He often joked with her, told stories, and even laughed at his own bad humor. It was how he kept from going insane in the silence of space. That day, while inspecting the damaged radar array, Elias noticed a faint signal flickering on the edge of his scanner. It wasn't a normal ship. It was too small, too irregular. The signal pulsed once, then vanished. Curious, he boosted the power to the sensors and rescanned. The signal returned, weak but steady. It was a life pod. Rhea, Elias said, leaning forward. Lock onto that signal and magnify. A hologram appeared in front of him, showing a spinning pod drifting through the debris field of what looked like a destroyed craft. The pod's outer hull was cracked but still sealed. Inside, faint heat readings glowed. Someone was alive. Captain, Rhea said calmly, the life pod is not of human origin. Design matches no known Alliance records. Elias rubbed his chin. An unknown pod out here? That's impossible. But impossible was how discoveries began. He activated the thrusters and guided the Aurora's Edge closer. When the pod finally came into view, his breath caught. Its surface shimmered like glass mixed with liquid metal, carved with strange glowing lines that seemed to move like veins. He could see a figure inside, small, fragile, humanoid. Life signs are weak, Rhea reported. Possible cryogenic damage. Elias brought the pod into the docking bay using the grappler arm. As soon as the airlock sealed, he ran to the bay. The pod hissed softly as pressure equalized. Through the transparent wall, he saw her. A young alien woman lay inside, motionless. Her skin was pale, almost translucent, and faint blue light pulsed beneath it. Her hair shimmered like strands of silver in the dim light. She didn't look mechanical, but she didn't look entirely organic either. She was beautiful, but in a strange, unearthly way. Elias whistled softly. Well, Rhea, either I found a miracle or a problem. Statistically speaking, the AI replied, it is usually both. He smiled. You're learning sarcasm. That's dangerous. Elias activated the manual override and carefully opened the pod. Cold mist escaped and the woman's body twitched slightly. Her breathing was shallow but present. He scanned her with a medical tool. Oxygen low, temperature unstable, minor internal injuries. Nothing fatal. As he lifted her out, she was lighter than air. Her skin was cold to the touch like polished stone. He placed her on a stretcher and carried her to the med bay. The sensors flickered uncertainly, unable to identify her biology. He adjusted them manually and started basic oxygen flow. While the machine worked, Elias sat beside her. He looked at the strange marks running along her arms, thin glowing lines like living circuits. He tried to lighten the silence. You love me already, huh? He joked softly. Didn't expect my first fan to come from another galaxy. He chuckled at his own joke, but of course there was no answer. She lay still, breathing faintly. Hours passed as he repaired systems around her. The ship was quiet except for the steady hum of the engines and the faint beeping of her monitor. Then in the middle of the night cycle, something changed. The lights dimmed. Rhea's voice glitched. Captain, I am detecting an energy fluctuation from the medbay. Elias dropped his tool and ran back. The alien woman was moving. Her eyes, glowing silver blue, slowly opened. For a moment, Elias froze. There was awareness in her gaze, confusion, fear, and something ancient. She tried to speak, but her voice came out like a melody made of air and light. The ship's translator flickered, unable to process the tones. Elias leaned closer. It's okay, he said softly. You're safe. You're aboard a human vessel. My name is Elias. Her eyes shifted toward him. Her lips trembled as if forming human words for the first time. She whispered slowly. His name sounded strange coming from her, like it echoed in his mind as much as his ears. He smiled gently. Yeah, that's me. Welcome to the Aurora's Edge. For a moment, they just looked at each other. Then suddenly she reached out and touched his wrist. Her fingers were cool, but the touch sent a faint spark through him like a pulse of static. The ship's lights flickered again. Rhea's voice came back online. Captain, Power levels are fluctuating in sync with your proximity to the alien. Suggest maintaining distance until analysis is complete. Elias ignored it. Easy there, he said. You're safe. Can you tell me your name? She looked uncertain as if she was searching through her own mind. Then quietly she said, Asha. Elias repeated it. Asha, that's nice. Do you know where you came from? Her gaze drifted toward the ceiling, unfocused. Gone, all gone, she said softly. They took everything. Her words sent a chill through him. Who took everything? But Asha closed her eyes, too weak to answer. He covered her with a thermal sheet and checked the monitors again. Her heart rate steadied. Satisfied, Elias sat back, staring at the alien girl who had fallen from the stars. He had seen many strange things in his life, but nothing like this. Over the next few days, Asha grew stronger. She could stand and speak simple words through the ship's translation system. Elias spent hours teaching her basics, names of objects, parts of the ship, how food replicators worked. She learned fast, too fast. She could operate the control panels without instruction, read human code, and even fix a system faster than Elias himself. You've got some talent, he said one day, as they repaired a damaged conduit. You sure you're not a hidden engineer? Asha smiled faintly. Learn. From you, he laughed. Flattery will get you more rations. It was easy to forget she wasn't human. She laughed softly when he joked. Though her laughter sounded like chimes, still there was sadness in her eyes, a shadow that never left. Then one day, while checking the external sensors, Rhea reported something strange. Captain, I am detecting an unknown signal approaching from the outer orbit. Origin unknown. Pattern repeating in short intervals. Elias frowned. Show me. A rhythmic pattern appeared on the screen, a pulse of light and sound. Asha, standing beside him, suddenly froze. Her eyes widened in terror. What is it? Elias asked. She didn't answer. She touched the console and the signal stopped abruptly. The screens flickered again, but now strange symbols appeared. Symbols that matched the markings on her skin. Rhea's voice dropped an octave. Captain, the alien entity has interfaced with our systems. Recommend immediate disconnection. Elias looked at Asha. Hey, it's okay. Talk to me. What's going on? Her voice was barely a whisper. They found me. Who? Her glowing eyes met his. The ones who ended my world. They will come for me. And for you. Before he could react, the ship's lights dimmed again. The external sensors showed a distant glimmer in the darkness. Something big was approaching, its signal sharp and predatory. Elias turned to Asha. If they're coming, then we need to get ready. She nodded slowly, fear and determination blending in her alien features. Then she reached out and gently touched his shoulder. Her voice dropped to a whisper that sent chills down his spine. Remember. The word echoed, not just in his ears but deep in his mind, like an ancient memory stirring to life. He didn't understand what it meant, but he felt it was important, like a promise or a warning. The red sun outside flickered weakly as the first shadows of the pursuing fleet appeared on the horizon. The silence of space was about to end. The aurora's edge drifted quietly beyond the dying star. Outside the window, streaks of red light cut across the dark as the damaged ship crawled through deep space. Inside, Captain Elias Vorn was wide awake, his eyes fixed on the scanner. The faint signal of a pursuing fleet pulsed behind them, distant but steady. They were being followed. Asha sat beside him in silence. Her hands rested on her knees, and faint blue light glowed under her skin, reflecting off the metallic walls. She looked calm, but Elias could see the tension in her eyes. How long do we have before they reach us? Elias asked. Rhea, the ship's AI, replied softly. Estimated time, 7 standard hours. Elias sighed. Not long enough, he turned to Asha. Who are they, Asha? Who's chasing you? Asha stared at the holographic map, her expression filled with quiet sorrow. They are the Voidborn, machines made from fear. They destroyed my home. Machines? Elias frowned. Like AI? She shook her head. No, worse, they do not think. They remember. They are built from the memories of those they kill. Every world they end becomes part of them. Elias didn't fully understand, but the way she said it made his skin crawl. Asha stood and walked toward the main reactor chamber. The ship's core hummed softly, its faint blue light mirroring her glow. Elias followed her, curious and cautious. "What are you doing?" he asked. "Your ship," she said, placing her hand on the reactor wall, "is old, but strong. Human design. It remembers, he repeated. She nodded. Humans once used resonance energy, sound and light woven together. It is in your machines, your bones, your stars. But you forgot." Her words confused him, yet they stirred something deep inside him, like a melody half remembered from a dream. The ship's hum changed pitch slightly when she touched it. Lights flickered, systems came online, and the engines stabilized. Rhea spoke again, sounding almost surprised. "Captain, energy levels have increased by 30%. Unknown cause." Elias looked at her. "You did that?" Asha only smiled faintly. "I remember your kind. Long ago, humans and my people fought together against the dark. You called us Alindra, but then something happened. You forgot. We faded." Elias leaned against the wall. "You're saying humans and Alindra were allies? In what, some ancient war?" "Yes," she said softly. "But time broke the connection. You lost the resonance. We tried to save you, but the Voidborn came. We ran, now. Only I remain." He looked at her glowing hands and the strange lines on her skin. "And those ships chasing you, they're the Voidborn?" She nodded. "They want the last of our resonance, and the last memory of your true self." Elias exhaled slowly. "Well," he said, forcing a half smile, "you really know how to bring trouble, don't you?" She looked puzzled. "Trouble?" He chuckled. "Never mind. It's a human thing." Asha tilted her head slightly, her silver blue eyes curious. "You joke. Even in danger, why?" He smiled faintly. "Because it helps me breathe." For a brief moment her lips curved in a small smile. Strange human. Hours passed as they worked to strengthen the ship. Asha showed Elias how to adjust the frequency of the shields using harmonic waves. It was like tuning an instrument. Each time they synchronized, the ship's hum grew louder, almost musical. During one test, Elias heard something, faint voices echoing in the vibration. Not human voices, but overlapping tones forming words. He looked at Asha in surprise. "What was that?" She looked at him with deep sadness. "The past. My people's memories. You are hearing what once was." The voices grew louder for a moment, fragments of laughter, crying, and battle cries. Then they faded away, leaving silence. Elias swallowed hard. "You can really bring memories back?" She nodded slowly. "Resonance keeps everything. Every sound, every word, every feeling." He looked down at his own hands. "Then maybe humanity isn't as lost as we thought." 6 hours later, alarms blared through the ship. "Captain," Rhea's voice came sharply. "The fleet is within attack range." Outside, the stars shimmered with movement. Dozens of black insect-like ships emerged from the void, their hulls shining with red light. They looked alive, almost breathing. Elias jumped to his seat. "Rhea, full power to shields." "Asha, get ready." Asha's eyes glowed bright as she placed both hands on the control panel. "I will help you remember." The ship shook violently as energy blasts struck the shields. Elias gritted his teeth. "Rhea, status?" "Shields holding at 70%. 60, 40. Asha's glow spread across the console. The lights dimmed, and the ship's hum deepened to a thunderous tone. Elias felt his chest vibrate as a wave of resonance swept through the Aurora's edge. Suddenly, the next volley from the enemy dispersed like smoke before reaching the hull. "What did you do?" he shouted over the sound. "I awakened the memory inside your ship," she said, her voice echoing in 2 tones, hers and another deeper one. "It remembers being a vessel of harmony. It knows how to fight." Rhea spoke again, sounding alive in a new way. "Captain, systems are changing. The ship is singing." Indeed, a low hum filled the air, and the entire vessel vibrated in rhythm. The enemy's attack scattered harmlessly against invisible waves. Elias maneuvered the ship, countering with new energy bursts formed from the resonance field. The black ships broke formation, disoriented by the strange frequencies. "Keep it up," he yelled. Asha nodded, her face glowing brighter. But suddenly her body trembled. The light in her veins flickered weakly. "Asha," he called. "What's wrong?" She fell to her knees. "Too much energy. My body cannot hold it." Elias caught her before she hit the floor. Her skin felt hot now, almost burning. "You're not doing this alone," he said. "You saved my ship, now let me save you." He lifted her carefully and laid her in the med chair. The ship's energy dimmed slightly without her touch. Outside, the enemy fleet regrouped. Ria's voice came through, calm but strained. "Captain, we can't hold them back much longer." Elias looked at the console and back at Asha. Her eyes fluttered open. "Use the resonance core," she whispered. "It's inside the reactor. It will link with me, and with you." He hesitated. "Will it save you?" Her faint smile answered him. "It will save us." He rushed to the reactor room. Following her instructions, he opened a hidden panel beneath the main core. A small crystal sphere pulsed softly within, glowing the same color as Asha's veins. When he touched it, a surge of warmth spread through him. Suddenly he heard Asha's voice, not through his ears but inside his mind. "Elias, listen to the memory." Visions flashed. Humans and Alindra standing side by side in ancient armor, their ships powered by light and sound. They fought the Voidborn together, wielding resonance as both weapon and hope. Then the vision vanished, leaving him gasping. He placed the sphere into the reactor slot. The ship roared to life. A beam of blue-white light shot out from the Aurora's edge, cutting through the darkness. The Voidborn ships staggered, their red glows flickering out one by one. The resonance pulse disrupted their network, scattering them like dust. Elias returned to the medbay, where Asha lay weak but smiling faintly. "You did it," he said softly. She looked up at him with tired eyes. "No, we did." He tried to keep her awake. "Hey, you can't check out now." "You still owe me an explanation. Remember that joke I made?" "You never answered." Her lips curved in a faint smile. "You love me?" she whispered, repeating his earlier words, but this time her voice carried warmth. He laughed quietly, his throat tight. "It was a joke, remember?" Asha's smile softened. "I remember everything." Her light dimmed slowly, her hand slipping from his. The ship grew silent. Only the soft hum of resonance filled the air. Ria spoke quietly, her tone almost human. "Captain, she has merged with the system. Her energy signature remains within the ship's core." Elias stared at the reactor chamber. "The crystal glowing gently like a heartbeat," he whispered. "Then she's not gone." Outside, the stars shimmered again. The remaining Voidborn ships retreated into the darkness, leaving behind silence. The Aurora's edge drifted quietly among them, its hull glowing faintly with the same light as Asha's energy. Elias leaned back in his chair, exhausted but alive. He looked at the stars, remembering her last words. "Humanity is the key," she had said. "Don't forget who you are." He didn't know what it meant fully, but he felt something change inside him, a forgotten strength, an ancient pride awakening. As the ship sailed into the vast unknown, the hum of the resonance followed him, gentle, alive, and filled with memory. The Aurora's edge glided silently through the endless black of space. Its hull shimmered faintly, glowing with the same soft blue light that had once pulsed through Asha's veins. Inside, Captain Elias Vorn sat in the command chair, staring at the star-strewn void. Though the immediate threat of the Voidborn fleet had passed, Elias could feel that the galaxy itself was shifting. Something had changed, not just the ship but him. Asha's consciousness had merged with the ship's systems during the battle. She was no longer fully corporeal, yet her presence was alive, humming gently through the reactor and the AI. "Ria," Elias said softly. "Can you talk to her?" The AI's voice responded with an unusual warmth, tinged with Asha's musical tones. "She's already part of me. You may speak to her directly." Elias closed his eyes and whispered, "Asha, are you there?" A soft melodic tone resonated through the ship, vibrating in his chest. "I am here, and I remember everything." He opened his eyes. "Everything?" "Yes," she said. "The history of your people. The bond between humans and Alindra. The resonance you once wielded. You have forgotten, but I have brought it back to you." Elias's heart pounded. "Then humanity can remember?" Asha's voice was gentle but firm. "Yes, but it will take more than one ship, one person. You must spread it. Humanity must awaken itself. Only then can the Voidborn truly be stopped." Elias nodded, understanding her meaning. He felt an energy within him, a connection to the past, to a forgotten human strength. The resonance pulse they had released during the battle had already begun awakening dormant systems on distant colonies, systems that humans had abandoned long ago. He stood and walked to the main console. Rhea, bring up a galactic scan. Stars and worlds flickered across the holographic display. On many planets, long dormant structures lit up as ancient resonance networks reactivated. Power flowed into communications, defense grids, and spaceports that had been abandoned for centuries. It's working, Elias whispered. Asha, you did this? No, she corrected. We did this. Your human resonance is waking. You just needed a guide. He felt a warmth in his chest, hope that humanity was not as small or forgotten as he had believed. Suddenly the ship's sensors blared. A new fleet of void-born ships emerged from the dark, larger and faster than the last. Their hulls gleamed red and their movements were precise and deadly. Elias gritted his teeth. Rhea, prepare defenses, Asha. Can we use the resonance again? Yes, she said. But this time you must lead. I will guide the network, but the power will come from humanity itself. He nodded and activated the resonance core, feeling Asha's presence spread throughout the ship. The crystal sphere pulsed in time with her energy, and the hum of the Aurora's edge grew louder, vibrating through every panel and hull plate. Listen, she whispered. Feel the memory of your ancestors. Their courage, their hope, their unity. Elias closed his eyes. He could see it. Visions of humans and Alindra working together, their ships glowing with harmonized energy, defending worlds from the Voidborn. The memory was alive, vibrating inside him, and he felt it flow outward through the ship, into the galaxy. The Voidborn ships attacked, firing waves of dark energy. But when the beams reached the resonance pulse, they scattered harmlessly. One by one, the enemy vessels faltered, their systems overloaded by the harmonic waves. Elias shouted to the crew, the small group of engineers and volunteers who had returned to help him. Spread the pulse. Activate every resonance network on nearby colonies. Messages and commands flashed across distant worlds. Systems that had been dead for centuries roared to life. Energy grids hummed and defense systems lit up. From the colonies, humanity itself responded, awakening a forgotten potential that no one had seen in generations. The Voidborn faltered. Their hive-like formation broke apart. For the first time, Elias realized humanity was not weak. Humans were a species that remembered, a species that could harmonize with life itself, with energy, with memory. Asha's voice came to him again, soft and proud. You are the key. You always were. Humanity was never lost. You only forgot. Elias smiled, tears forming in his eyes. I remember now. Suddenly, one of the Voidborn ships broke through the defenses, heading straight for the Aurora's edge. The crew panicked, but Elias remained calm. Asha, he said, we finish this together. Yes, she whispered. Use the resonance. Let humanity remember fully. He placed his hands on the console, closing his eyes. He felt every human memory, fear, courage, love, determination, merge with Asha's guidance. The ship glowed brighter than the sun outside, pulsing with blue-white energy. A massive wave shot out across space. Every Voidborn ship in the region was struck by the resonance pulse. Their systems screamed in digital agony, then fell silent. One by one, the red glows faded. Their ships became inert, drifting in the void like empty husks. Elias opened his eyes. The fleet was gone. The galaxy was quiet again. He sank into his chair, exhausted but alive. Asha's light dimmed, merging fully into the ship's systems. Though he could no longer see her form, he felt her presence in every hum of energy, every pulse of the resonance core. Are you okay? He asked softly. I am always with you, her voice answered, melodic and serene. Through the ship, through memory, through humanity. Elias nodded, understanding. Then, it's not over, is it? No, she said. This is the beginning. Humanity will awaken. You will lead them. He looked at the stars. He thought of the ancient humans and Alindra warriors who had fought together, the forgotten bond now restored. He thought of Asha, her smile, her guidance, her whisper that had changed everything. Thank you, he whispered, tears in his eyes. For reminding me, for reminding all of us. For a long time he sat in silence, feeling the resonance pulse through the ship, through the colonies, through the hearts of humans far and wide. Asha's melody lingered in the air, gentle, powerful, and alive. Finally he leaned back and let out a breath. He spoke softly, almost to himself. I remember, and I'll make sure the galaxy does too. Outside the stars sparkled. Human colonies lit up one by one, their systems awakened, their people inspired. Humanity had returned to its forgotten strength. The Aurora's Edge sailed onward, guided by Elias and the whisper of the alien girl who had changed everything. The galaxy was vast and challenges remained. But humanity now had hope, unity, and a new understanding of its true power. Elias smiled at the glowing console. "And maybe, I did love you too," he whispered, thinking of Asha. Though she was no longer beside him in form, her presence lingered, guiding, protecting, and harmonizing the future of his people. The stars stretched infinitely ahead, and the human race, awakened and resonant, sailed toward a new age. The galaxy would never forget the day humanity remembered who it truly was. And somewhere deep in the Aurora's Edge, Asha's light pulsed, a constant reminder that even in the void, one whisper could change everything.